and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. If we have not met already, then hi, my name is Marissa Wight, and on Wednesdays we get weird. I mean, to be honest, I kind of keep it weird 7 days a week, but on Wednesdays I share that weirdness with the people of the internet. I hope you guys had the best Halloween ever, even though it's 2020 and like, how good can it really be? Alright guys, so what today's Weird Wednesday is going to be about is the 27 Club. Now, I'm sure you've heard of this before. This is a huge conspiracy theory, especially in the music scene. So if you have heard of this before, maybe just keep on listening because we're going to go over a few different theories on what the 27 Club could actually be, because there are quite a few out there. This is a conspiracy theory that I've been interested for a long time, way before I thought about even starting a YouTube channel, and it's always just been very intriguing to me. Alright, so the 27 Club is said to have been started with the black blues musician Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson had a very short but very successful career as a blues artist. He was a very talented guitar player, and it seemed like he just kind of got his talent overnight. So, as I'm sure you're assuming already, yes, he died at the age of 27, which was back in 1938, and his exact cause of death actually is not known. It's said that he died of mysterious conditions, and on his actual death certificate, it says that there was no doctor. So a few different articles that I've read said that he was either poisoned or he died of complications of syphilis. What is it with all these syphilis? All my stories, syphilis. Fucking syphilis. Or that he had pneumonia. So I guess in one of the theories, he had a show at this club and he was flirting with someone's wife, and they think that that person poisoned him because he left his drink unattended, came back, took a drink, then he became sick, and there was an altercation that happened. But to be honest with you guys, it's not really known. There's many theories out there, so who really knows? But he did die, that we do know, at age 27. Robert Johnson is said to be the first victim of the 27 Club. It is said that he was walking along an interstate one night and he got lost. It was a really hot night. There was a full moon and he just didn't feel good. So he decided to stop and take a nap literally on the side of the road because he was just so hot and it was just a strange night and he wasn't feeling himself. So he thought if he could just rest up a little bit, he'd be good to walk the rest of the way. He actually had gotten lost. So as Robert Johnson is laying on the side of the road trying to sleep, the wind starts to pick up really intensely. And he sits up and he's thinking to himself how odd it is that at this time of year, the weather is getting that intense and that quickly. And then it is said that he saw what he described as a black, shadowy, floating figure in the distance, slowly coming towards him. I don't know about you guys, but if I saw that shit, I would have got up and ran the other way. But he didn't. He stuck around, paralyzed with fear, and he waited until this black, shadowy, floating figure got closer and closer and eventually approached him. A lot of people believe that this was the devil or some kind of devil or demonic entity, and that the reason why this entity was approaching Robert is because he wanted his soul. Robert was at this time aspiring to be a musician, but he wasn't said to be very good yet. He had some basic skills as a guitar player, but it wasn't anything that people were like losing their shit over, so he just wasn't that good. But that night, this dark, shadowy figure supposedly picked up the guitar, handed it back to Robert, and when he did, when Robert accepted that guitar, he was accepting the deal with the devil to trade his soul for fame and talent. So Robert picked himself up, picked his guitar up, walked along, and he was just jamming out. He was hitting notes that he never thought he could, and he was extremely talented. hit after that. Now, as far as where this story comes from, it's kind of folklore, legend, but it's widely known. So there's lots of different articles and videos, and a lot of people have kind of different twists on the story, but this to me, over the years, the way that I'm explaining it to you guys, is the way that I have heard it told the most. So Robert Johnson, plays the guitar for like 3 years, gets really famous, changes the music scene, and if you guys are fans of rock or metal or any type of like alternative music like that, blues is what it came from. Black blues artist started rock and roll. So he is just iconic in that aspect in itself, that he was part of that. Even though his career was very, very short-lived, because 3 years later, he died. The black blues artists of this time period, they paved the way for all of these rock and metal artists who also ended up joining the 27 Club. There's plenty and plenty and plenty of rock stars out there who haven't just dropped dead at the age of 27. But for the ones that have dropped dead at 27, a lot of the deaths were ruled out mysterious, or there's some type of conspiracy behind it. So after Robert Johnson, many other artists and famous people would join this infamous 27 Club. A few of the more popular ones that I'm sure you guys have heard of would be people like Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison, who I'm obsessed with, I might add. Always had a huge crush on Jim Morrison. Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, and Brian Jones. So that right there is just a few more people, but the list goes on and on and on. Those are just some of the more famous ones. Now, if you guys are familiar with the band Nirvana, which if you're not, you good, sis? Are you good? They were iconic in the 90s. They paved the way for the grunge scene, kind of moved away from like that hair metal vibe into grunge. A lot of people argue that Alice in Chains was more iconic for the grunge scene, but they're both great. Kurt Cobain was the lead singer of Nirvana, and he died of supposedly a self-inflicted gunshot wound in his Seattle home. Now, a lot of people knew that Kurt was on a lot of substances and struggled with his addiction. There's a lot of conspiracies that go around his death. He was with a woman named Courtney Love, who was also in the music scene. She had substance issues herself. So they were both known for just being kind of strung out all the time and doing kind of crazy shit. They were part of this huge movement in the music scene, and they were living fast, and unfortunately, he died young. A lot of people believe that Kurt Cobain had way too much heroin in his system to have actually been able to pull the trigger and shoot himself. So there's a lot of people that believe that he was overdosed, or somebody gave him too much heroin, or that somebody else came in and shot him. There's a lot of conspiracies surrounding Kurt Cobain's death, and we're not going to get too deep into that. But a lot of people believe that Courtney Love had something to do with it. There's also some issues with his suicide note. And little thing really quick. I've seen a lot of people that have like hoodies or t-shirts with Kurt Cobain's suicide note on them. And I just gotta say, like, if you guys are one of those people that wear those, you're fucking wrong, and that is bullshit. You should throw it away. That is so disrespectful. Anyway. There's a lot of inconsistencies with, his death, and people just always thought it was super shady, and a lot of people, like I said, blamed Courtney. However, you have the 27 Club as well, where people think that he made a deal with the devil and in exchange got really, really famous, lived this super crazy rock star life, and then by the time that he turned 27, his time was up. It is said that his own mother was quoted saying, "Now he is gone and joined that stupid club. I told him not to join that stupid club." I mean, his own mom believed it. Jumping back to Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison was another very, very, very wild and crazy musician for his time. He was the frontman of the band The Doors, which, awesome band, super, super great band. And he was known for being off his rocker. Like, Jim Morrison was on some shit lots of shits. And he was just known for being loopy and crazy as it is. He would go out to the desert and like do peyote and just trip balls for days at a time. And it was just a really crazy, crazy, crazy life that he lived already. So it wasn't a big surprise for a lot of people, unfortunately, when he did meet his demise at the age of 27 of a drug overdose. Just like Kurt Cobain's death, a lot of people have doubts and are very suspicious, and there's a lot of conspiracies around Jim Morrison's death. Again, the girlfriend was suspicious, and there's actually people that believe that Jim Morrison did not die in the bathtub of his hotel. Like, it's believed that he actually died at the club they were at previously, and that they put him in that bathtub. Again, there's a lot of conspiracy around his death as well. Now, obviously today with the forensics that we have, it's a little easier to really find out the details. But this is before we had all of that. So there is still some mystery, and people still argue to this day about what really happened. Jim Morrison, if you don't already know, actually had like this strange obsession with death. He was very, very, very obsessed with death. And he would do things all the time that would freak people out around him, like pretend to jump off of a building or, you know, threaten to kill himself, and was kind of nonchalant about it. So again, a lot of people weren't shocked when he died at a young age. Now, one thing about the 27 Club that I'm actually mind blown was debunked was the white lighter theory. So if you've ever heard people telling you to not use a white lighter or to throw away a white lighter, or that they are bad luck, it is because white lighters were found on all of the victims of the 27 Club. That has been debunked. It's not true that white lighters were found on all of the bodies of the deceased people who supposedly joined the 27 Club, but I went years and years and years thinking that it was true. And so when I would see my friends with white lighters, I would like take it and be like, no white lighters, and they would just think I'm crazy, which, I mean, not much has changed, but so now let's look at the 27 Club from a bit more of a skeptical standpoint, right? So 27, that's a hard year for a lot of people. That quarter life crisis can really set in for a lot of people, especially due to the fact that they were musicians out on the road, living this fast life with a lot of substances. And a lot of these musicians were just completely out of their mind on drugs, but they were also super, super stressed out because the stress of tour life and the pressure of performing, and these people just, they had a lot on their shoulders. So a lot of people believe that because of all of that pressure and the lifestyle that they were living, it just so happens that around the quarter life mark, where a lot of people have their quarter life crisis, they just cracked. And that's why they, you know, overdosed on drugs or committed suicide or whatever the case may be. And who knows, that could be true, and it could just be a really, really strange coincidence. Now, there's also some people that get really, really, really deep into astrology, which I, surprisingly, don't know much about astrology at all. So I'm not gonna sit here and embarrass myself and try to pretend like I do, but there's tons of other videos if you wanna research what the astrological theories are for the 27 Club, because a lot of people believe that that has a lot to do with it. I myself, like I said, don't know too much about it, so I don't really know if I believe that or not, but you know, I just wanted to mention it because it is very popular. And it kind of goes with the whole like quarter life crisis, age 27 thing as well. They kind of go hand in hand, in my opinion. So again, going back to the skeptical side, if you actually look at the numbers of these famous people who died at the age of 27, they only make up about 1.3% of the group. It is actually far more common for these famous people to die at the age of 56 rather than 27. 2.3% of the musicians and famous people who died were at the age of 56. So it's very interesting. What do you guys believe? I don't know what I believe. I mean, there is so much to dive into that I could go on and on and on about this subject. I really think the whole conspiracy surrounding Kurt Cobain's death is very interesting. Let me know if you guys would like me to do a video just on that, because that alone can be a whole video of itself. I mean, there is so much conflicting evidence, and it's just a lot. Who's to say that Robert Johnson didn't make a deal with the devil, if you believe in that sort of thing, you know? And all these musicians followed in his footsteps. Who's to say that the devil didn't come to them and say, hey, in exchange for your eternal soul, I'm gonna give you fame and everything that you want, and you're gonna live a short life, but you're gonna really live, and you're gonna live a life that people dream of living that never will. I mean, the whole selling your soul to the devil thing has been around for a long time. It's mentioned in lots of different songs and movies, and it's a big part of pop culture. I mean, today, if you look into the whole Illuminati, you know, conspiracies, that's literally what it's based around, at least for the people who believe that members of Hollywood are in the Illuminati, that they're selling their souls to the devil in exchange for all this fame and glory, which, again, that's a whole nother video. But I'm sure if you guys are interested in conspiracies and things like that, then you've already heard of that one, because that's very, very well known. I do think that a lot of these musicians died suspiciously. I do think that some of the conspiracies surrounding their deaths should be looked into a little bit more and are very interesting. And again, with the drugs and the fast life, who knows? Who really knows? So yeah, guys, that is the 27 Club. If you have never heard of it, I'm surprised, but there it is. And like I said, it's something I've been interested for a lot of years, and just wanted to kind of share that with you guys and get your thoughts on it. Let me know below in the comment section what you guys believe about the 27 Club. Do you believe in the astrology part of it? Do you believe it's just a coincidence and there is absolutely nothing supernatural going on with this club at all, and then we're all just crazy? Let me know. I'm super curious to hear your guys' feedback. And really quick, I wanted to apologize for missing you guys last Wednesday. I wasn't feeling very good, so I decided to take a break, and that's why I didn't put out a Weird Wednesday video last week, but I promise I'm going to do my best to put one out every single Wednesday for you guys. And obviously if something comes up, then it comes up, but I'm gonna try my best. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to let me know by liking it. Also, if you'd hit that subscribe button and be a part of my little family. We are growing slowly, but we're growing. And again, I'm just so happy to be here and be a part of this platform. And every single one of you that hit subscribe, I truly, truly appreciate you so, so much. It really means a lot to me. And yeah, with that being said, I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.